So, gus falsa rush wig episode Ella, Jet H the Rish, me the Buicus, Asavel Lina, Arís. Big thank you for being back again this week. Agus me the Buicus Mar is Ganok Asavel Lina Patreon. So big thank you for being with us on Patreon. Arís, gus me the Buicus as Kupla Trochtrucht on H the Rish Jernach. So big thank you for a few comments on the previous H the Rish. I kind of asked, anyone had any ideas about the format and how it was going for them, whether they wanted more difficult, easier, and the big thing people are saying is Grouche on Usajuk, that is very useful and that people were enjoying it and finding it good. So, mi the buich session, ach malta ein trochtdorchdi no asholis, so any comments or feedbacks, be it dagwalums in the trochtdorchdi he's just drop me a comment below. Guys, always really interested to hear what you guys think. And any thoughts or just any ideas in terms of how you're getting on with everything and how you might like to see something be done slightly differently. An seachtain seo, guys, tá gá clip eile agam. An céad clip, tá seo podcréile dar rannam Sílam dash. So Sílam, S-I-fada, L-I-M, and then dash in Merle. The link will be down in the description anyway. And in the podcast, Catherine Niwelon, who's the host, normally has one person on every week or sometimes just a solo cast, where they're talking about wellness, about achieving your goals, about mindfulness, and also about, kind of just living your best life, I suppose, and taking care of yourself, etc., etc. Really good podcast. There's not many others like it. Ascoelga, so highly recommend. I'll leave the link down below. It's a clip show. Tá cína ní cuirín le Catherine. Agus ní bhaimid ag éisteach ach le cína ní cuirín ó bhain. So clip seo, well, Dúireach rih an clip seo, so just before this clip, chur Catherine ceist ar cína. So Catherine asked cína, what are the best ways to kind of keep yourself motivated and to achieve your goal? It's quite a general question, and we're going to hear the reply right around now from Kina. So the next voice you're going to hear is hers. She is kind of younger Irish, let's say, and very Connemara native speaker Irish. Guys, you'll hear a few Connemara-isms, let's call them, throughout. See if you can pick them out. Feel free to listen to it as many times as you want. I'm going to play it once, but try and listen to it a few times if you're struggling, just to get as much detail as you can before we go through it. Lena. So, Kina, cad atá siúl agat.
Yeah, so ceistá agus ceist tábhachtach ag an táimseo agus blion freisin mar bíon golóir daoine i duna sprichanna nó beidir go ruud cíntatá se de géiríonna. Agus mar tá ráta sin, is minic go gcuinemuid ar an tortha atá muid a ggéire bhaint amach. So beidir ag dead na bliana tá mai ggéire a bheith níos aclaí, nó tá mai ggéire post nu a bham, nó éincheo sa sport freisin, tá mai ggéire rud cínta chruachtal. So tá cinál Eva and the here to tell me a gear about to make go fatsermach.
Okay, Gurmad Kina. So an Goelga tá Kina mar Dorchme on size Connemara. But as she's a bit younger, it's a lot clearer and kind of small, tiny gaps between every word. And all the words there, you would see, apart from maybe Kyo very rarely used, to be honest, but all the other words there, you would see come up quite often in the news or in kind of standard Irish or in textbooks or in my podcast or in what I speak or any other podcast or whatever. So, Brushimon Cise, Lena, Lelena. We'll break it down line for line. On Kate Quids, that's the first part.
Yeah, so ceistá, agus ceist tábhachtach.
So ceistá agus ceist tábhachtach. So often if you have a shavu or an error right at the start, you can throw it off. We have a shavu there on ma. So it's ceistá agus ceist tábhachtach. The reason there we have to shave on ma is because ceist is feminine, so therefore any adjectives we have on it are all going to take a shave. Okay, it'd be the same if it was, a white question. Ceist bháin instead of ceist bán. Okay, any feminine noun, any adjectives we have on it, even if the noun itself doesn't take the H, the adjectives will. Okay, also if we had an on there, definite article before question, it would be on ceist with CH. But don't worry too much about that for now, and always don't be getting too upset about the Shevus. So Keshtwa agus Keshtavatuk, a good question and an important question.
Ag an Tom seo agus blian
I just missed out the bit before, so let me play again from the start.
Yeah, so Keshtwa agus Keshtavatach ag an Tom seo agus blian.
I didn't miss anything. Ag an Tom seo chun bhlín. So Keshtwa agus Keshtavatuk ag an Tom seo chun bhlín. So ag an Tom seo at this time chun bhlín of the year. Here, kind of for the year. So Keshtwa agus Keshtavatuk, a good question, an important question. And Tom seo chun bhlín at this time of the year.
Freshen mar bíon galore.
Freshen also. Mar bíon galore.
Dína a duna sprichanna.
Mar bíon galore dína ag genu sprichanna. Mar bíon galore dína ag genu sprichanna. So bíon, we have the habitual. It's not something that's happening right now in the second. It's something that's always kind of going on or generally just be happening. So bíon galore dína. So a lot of people do be being, I suppose, or a lot of people do be doing in this case. Galore, a lot of people use for enough. Guys, I always seem to learn it as enough through Duolingo or whatever, but I've always thought of it more as a lot. Depends on the context, you can use it for both, but in most cases, especially here, when you have it before the noun galore dini, it'll be more so a lot. So bin galore dini, ag déanamh sprichanna. That's quite a Connemara thing. Let's listen again just to the way she says ag déanamh, or as you might know it, ag déanamh.
Mar bíon galore dína a duna sprichanna.
Ag déanamh, ag déanamh. So that's very Connemara thing. You'll also get it in Ulster Group as well. Instead of saying ag déanamh, always using the oo sound more. So ag déanamh or ag déanamh, as you kind of hear there. She says it quite quickly, so it's tough to pick up, but ag déanamh. I get that in Ulster as well, but especially in Connemara, to try and think of another example, you know, just a lot of those examples, or a lot of those kind of ones, let's say, ag smuoinmh, finishing it with ag smuoinú. We'll actually hear it in a second or two. We have smuoinmh and it's pronounced even differently at the start, but any of those kind of AMH at the end, or any chance we have to put in a kind of U sound in Connemara Irish, you'll often get it. So, bíon galore dína ag déanamh sprichanna. Sprichanna is going to be goals, or kind of anything you're looking to achieve. So let's just translate it as goals. So a lot of people do be making goals. Let's not forget that déanamh isn't just doing, it's also making. So a lot of people do be making goals. Just play that again and let it roll on to the next bit as well.
Tom seo agus blian freshen mar bíon galore dína a duna sprichanna nó beidir go rud cínta se de géir inna.
No beidir gofuil rudi cíns atá si de géirí a dhéanamh. No beidir gofuil rudi cíns atá si de géirí a dhéanamh. So, no beidir tá rudi cíns. So rudi cíns is the same as rud éigean, as again, quite a Connemara way of doing it, a cíns instead of éigean. So beidir tá rudi cíns. So maybe there is something. Atá si de géirí a dhéanamh, atá si de géirí, always your easiest way of doing want, guys. Tá mé ag géirí, I want. Tá tusa ag géirí, you want. So rud éigent will see ag géirí, something that they want a dhéanamh, to do. Okay, tá mé ag géirí é sin a dhéanamh, I want to do that. Tá mé ag géirí an scrúdú a dhéanamh, I want to do the exam. So rud éigent will see the géirí a dhéanamh, something that they want to do.
Agus Martha ráta sin.
Agus Martha ráta an sin. Basically, as has been said there. So ráta is your past participle, or your verbal adjective as it's known, for the verb to say. So tá sé ráta aige, he has said it. So Martha ráta an sin, it's impersonal, not connected to anyone. So as it's been said, basically there. Or it's kind of almost like in English we'd normally say, as you said there.
Sin. Is minic go gcuine muid
Is minic go gcuine muid It's a bit tough, especially the gcuine. So is minic is just, it's often. So we can say, you know, tarlíonn sé go minic, but it's just easier to say is minic. Is minic, and then we have to put the go afterwards to connect it to the verb. Is minic go gcuine muid. So go gcuine muid is actually going to be go smuoine muid, but just again, a bit of more of a Connemara thing is pronouncing that S just like a C. Okay, I know there's not much logic behind it, but you will get a few words which just pronounce completely different. And that's not just Connemara thing, actually. That's done a bit in all dialects of saying, instead of ag smuoinmh, ag chuoinmh. queen of almost sounds like a queena for crying. I guess Minnick, Guguin and much. So we also have the G there then on the kind of C sounds, although you can't hear it too much. So it's often that we think, what are we thinking about?
Nick Gugini Muds Adam Torah.
Aaron Turha or Aaron Turha, we can also say. Okay, either Turha or Turha about the results. So it's often basically that we think about the results or we focus in on the results.
Atomagira wants a mach.
Atomajigiri a once a mock. So I think we had once a mock. On Teacht and Shikacha. Agus buin a mock. Guys, shin achieve as gohega. So Rudagan of winch a mock. Shin to achieve something. So it's Minnick. Guguini muds air. On Rudagan. Atomajigiri once a mock. What we want to achieve basically.
Atomagira wants a mach.
Atomajigiri once a mock. So that we want to achieve.
So Baidid Egded in the Bliana.
So Beidir Egder in the Blina. So maybe at the end of the year it's Geran na Blina instead of Geran Vlin because Tishigan and Juk. So Blin is feminine, so we have to use the na as opposed to the on. That's your main rule for the Tishigan and Juk, is if the second noun is feminine, we use the na in the middle. If it's masculine, we use the on. So Geran na Blina. Don't worry too much about the change of spelling to Blin. The main thing there is the on or the na, and not putting the on before Gera. Not going on Zera Nablina, just Gera Nablina. Never any on before the genitive. So Gera Nablina.
Tomagira of a Nis Akli.
Tomig Erie of a Nis Akli. You see there we don't have even the E sound too much. Because in Kodamara we don't have that sound much. It's just Tomig Era. Kind of Tomig Era instead of Tomig Erie, which would be a much more kind of Ulster and Munster way of doing it. Okay, so Tomig Erie of a Nis Akli. So Tamayira, I want. A ve, always a ve, translates as to be. Nis Akli, fisher. Hey, Tamayira ve Nis Akli, I want to be fitter.
Nu Tomagira Pus Nuavam.
No Tamayiri pus nua of it am. So, or I want. Pus nua of it am is an interesting one, guys, and very useful. So it's to have a new job, pus nua. But you see the order there, that tricks a lot of people out because we don't really have a verb for to have. You know, igoni kahimadra, like talmadra agam, I have a dog. But we're not really using the verb to have there, we're using the verb to be. You know, tal, we're saying a dog is at me. For I have a dog. So on rudkena on so, guys, lahai to have, kahimadra to be at me. So I want for a new job to be at me. By she igoni consolation pus nua a vet agam to have a new job, to have a different chance. Pus jifrul a vet eki marampla if we're referring to a girl. Okay, so tashi giri pus nua chance jifrul a vet eki marampla. We're always gonna go for it to be at whoever, me or her or him. Okay, so maybe I want to be fitter. Once I have a new job.
Nu Enkyo. So
No, ain't kyo. Kyo not used very much. It's just another word for rud, basically. So, or anything. Basically. It's like payrud. Okay, payrud just means anything, whatever. Doesn't matter, kind of, etc.
sports fashion Tomagira.
That's the sports fashion. So in sport as well. Tomegira, I want to.
Rudkin to Rochdal.
Rudikins a crocodile. So a crocodile is going to be to lift. And Rudikins, again, just something. So I want to lift something. In other words, I want to win something at the end of the year, referring to lifting a trophy, winning silverware. Okay, Cadella, ní lach beidir sé nó seach second fáca agin an seo. So cad ella atá agin.
So tá cinál Eva and
So tá cinál Eva an. So tá seo Jacker. Guys, so tá cinál Eva an. Cinál, sin type or kind of. Eva, image. You could even kind of translate this to picture, but let's go image. Tá cinál Eva an. And then an is just agin. So real Connemara thing again of not pronouncing the G in the egg form with a lot of them. So instead of saying agat, ad, gormad, gormad for thank you. Okay, same then, let's say for the we have, the agin or gwyn, as you might know it, an instead. So tá cinál Eva an. We have this kind of image.
Eva and the here the Thomas a gira bad to mach.
The céird atá man géirí buint amach, so we're getting good use out of a géirí and so the céird of what? You could say the cod version on rud céine. Atá man géirí that we want amach to achieve.
Go fad sermach.
Go fad termach, long term. Okay, fad termach, long term. Okay, gear termach, that would be short term. Okay, so Silagum go sin Kerkalor guys Arís Rash Bajer Gzi on Kate Bridge. Well actually let's play it now. Just one more time, just so you can get a feel for it and see if it all makes sense and adds up. So Kina or a one Ella let the hell.
Yeah, so Keshtwa. Agus Kesh Tawachtach ag an Tomsha agus blian freshen mar bíon galoor dina it's in a spricana nu beter go ruud kids tasha de giriana. Agus Martha Rota chin. Is minnig go gwine moeds an torra atá man gira want amach. So beidir ag dead in the bliana tá mai gira a bheith níos achlí nu tá mai gira post nu avam nu eincho sa sport freshen tá mai gira rud cín sa rochtdal. So tá cinál Eva and the here the Thomas a gira bad amach go fad sermach.
So tá Silagum girl sin níos éisca an sin guys, but as I always say, feel free to deal with the first 20 minutes of this podcast and almost treat the next 20 minutes as a completely different one and just focus on that. Make sure you kind of understand it and understand the thinking behind everything. I hope it's been explained relatively well there. And yeah, a lot of, as I said, Connemara-isms and things specific to dialects, guys, which we will go through. We'll do that more in Munster as well and Ulster and everything else as the weeks go on. But the next one we're going to hear is Dara O'Brien. As many of you might know, Dara O'Brien is one of the biggest Irish comedians out there. A big Irish comedian over in the UK, hosted Mock the Week. I think he still does as well. Agus is Gaelgor a freshen. Nils Chiapam is as Kilwanton a, so I think he's from Wicklow. Ach Gaelgor a Aher. So his father was an Irish speaker somewhere other shin. Igoni Vishid Eglauch Gaelga Lekela Sachak. So in this clip, guys, it's from a good while ago, I think almost 10 years ago, actually, but it's quite good, and I think the level is perfect as well for a lot of people listening to this. Dara is being interviewed and is speaking a little bit about basically how he writes jokes and how he prepares for maybe testing out new material, but more so coming up with new material. Okay, so we're going to get to listen to that and his thoughts on it throughout. The clip is quite short, guys, just about 25-30 seconds long. So on Kate go Ella, then on go to Dara. So, Dara, what is the best way of kind of writing or coming up with material, or what is your process?
An teoric ná, bailach aibíonn sé ná. Nuair bhíonn sí seo le féin ag teachtas le joke, ní aibíonn sé. Ní féad sé anna dheachar teachtas is stuff nuair nach chud agsúna bhar an gig féin.
So níl sin agus céir tá sé seo an joke.
Níos is a rís. Níos móna sin cabin sé, oh wait, sin rud a thorla, seanscúil rud ag an meabhla sé.
Okay.
Ach ní lís an córachaí sé, nó lís an códus ní sin a chochréting sé. So is gáil mi seasan bhs cos lu agus, just tusnú ag caint.
So, is not better 52 second, ach tá sé go happy. Okay, he speaks quite fast. Even in English, he speaks very fast always. So, might be tricky to follow, guys. But let's go back and listen to it from the start. Cad atá agin le Dara.
Agus an teoric ná, bailach.
Agus an teoric ná. Sorry, thieves. Cad é teoric. Teoric comes from teorica. And the teorica is like the instructions, but it's almost here being used as the advice. Obviously, we have in the singular on teoric. So it's kind of the instruction or the best way to do it or the guide. Okay, so it doesn't translate too well into English, but basically he's saying, you know, the best advice here, I suppose in English you'd say the advice is ba ba ba. So, an teoric ná.
An teoric ná, bailach aibíonn sé ná.
An bailach a aibríonn sé ná. So an bailach the way a aibríonn sé it works. So an bailach a aibríonn sé the way that it works. So what's the ná? The ná, guys, is used by a lot of people if you're saying something with the is. So really there, the full sentence there is, you know, is a an trúr, no, or whatever, is a an bailach, is far, no. And it just connects the first part of the sentence, that we have after the is, to the next part if it's too long. But if it's not something as simple as, let's say, is Búhil a Dylan? Dylan is a boy. If it's the best piece of advice I can give you is the piece of advice I was given, blah, 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 then we normally just connect it with no. You know, say on Corla is far, for my reeve, no, and then you can just continue on like a normal sentence. Okay, so don't be kind of worrying too much even about the thinking behind it. Just think anytime I hear no, it's basically is, the is form. And all we're saying there is the verb to be. Okay, so on bailach, I bring say no, the way that it works is
Nuair bhíonn sí seomra leat féin.
na ríntu ag si is seomra leat féin. Na ríntu ag si is seomra leat féin. So again, habitual, not talking about right now, just in general. Na ríntu ag si, when you are sitting, is seomra leat féin. In a room, so we know it's in a room as opposed to in the room, because it's I. So is seomra leat féin, in a room, by yourself. We can say leat féin, by yourself, or I the einer, on your own.
Ag teacht suas le joke.
Ag teacht suas le joke. So coming up with a joke. A lot of that stuff we can just translate directly. Guys, so ag teacht suas coming up with something like creating something on rud céine le cén chuí atá your seachtaine ag dul. How is your weekend going? You know, even though we're not talking about going somewhere, a lot of people are surprised we can actually use that as well, just the same as we would in English. Okay, so ag teacht suas le joke, coming up with a joke.
Ní aibríonn sé. Ní
Ní aibríonn sé. Ní aibríonn sé. So it doesn't work. Okay? If you're sat in your own in a room, ag teacht suas le joke, coming up with a joke, ní aibríonn sé. It doesn't work.
seomra leat féin. Ag teacht suas le joke. Ní aibríonn sé. Ní féidir sé anna dhheachar teacht suas stuff.
Tá sé anna dhheachar teacht suas le stuff. So tá sé anna dhheachar, it's very difficult. Teacht suas le stuff. Again, to come up and then with stuff. Often a word like stuff we wouldn't translate. So ag teacht suas le stuff, ag teacht suas le jocanna, le rudí, ein rud cosú le sin. Okay, ag teacht suas le stuff, so it's very difficult to come up with stuff.
Anna dhheachar teacht suas stuff nuair nach chud ag súna ar an gig féin.
Nóir nach bhfuil tú ag smaoinú ar an gig féin. So this time we've smaoinú with the S pronunciation, the more normal pronunciation. Nóir nach bhfuil tú ag smaoinú, no ag smaoinúh ar na giganna féin, I think we have, or is it in singular?
Nuair nach chud ag súna ar an gig féin.
Ar an gig féin, go leis gael. So, nóir nach bhfuil tú is when you aren't, as you probably already know nóir for when, but always after the when, or nóir, we'll have a little A. So, nóir atá tú ag dul, mar ampla, when you are going, but that A in the negative changes to nach. So we can never have nóir a ní, or nóir ní. Nóir and the verb being negative after will always be nóir nach. So, nóir nach bhfuil tú ag smaoinamh when you aren't thinking ar na giganna, or go leis gael anseo, ar an gig féin. About the gig itself. Okay, gig is just gig.
Ar an gig féin.
So níl sin sin agus céir.
So, níl tusa an sin, agus an céad rud. I think she's kind of about to say an céad rud eile, but she almost cuts herself off by screaming, basically. So, níl tusa an sin agus an céad rud eile. So, you're not there, and the next thing on céad rud eile is going to be the next thing, the first other thing. In other words, so you're not there, and the next thing,
Tá sé am. So then.
tá sé am. Conamara, again, tá sé agam, tá sé am. I have it. Okay, so you're not there thinking, and then the next thing, oh, I have it.
Níos Arís.
Anishis Arís. Anishis Arís. Anishis Arís, direct translation, now and again. Okay, once in a while, every so often, now and again, Anishis Arís. You'll often get those ones, it's just is instead of agus. So it's not Anish agus Arís, Anishis Arís. Or anseo is ansúd, here and there, rambla.
Níos Arís. Níos mó ná sin cap.
Níos mó ná sin. So ná in this case it's just that. Excuse me, than. So níos mó ná sin. More than that, or more so.
Oh, wait, sin rud a hála, sean go rud ag an meabhla se.
Okay.
Ceapam seo. So cad ceapam seo? Ceapam seo is just I think with the emphasis. So ceapam, I think. But again, we can go I think with the sho. Okay, just add the sho to the end. Why is it sho, not so? Why is it not ceapam so? It's because it's slender. Okay, we've got the AIM at the end of ceapam. So we look at I, slender, so therefore use the sho as opposed to the so. Listen to the rest of that again.
Arís, níos móna sin ceapan se, oh, wait, sin rud a hála.
Ceapam seo, oh wait, sin rud a harla. Sin rud a harla, again, kind of just dropping the is because it's not necessary. So instead of saying, you say sin rud a harla, just sin rud a harla. That is something that happens. A harla, that happens. That's something that happens.
Sean go rud ag an meabhla se.
Sean go rud ag an meabhla sin. So the chance is a really good way of kind of indicating possibility or maybe. Because chance go will rud ag an meabhla sin, or Beidir go will rud ag an meabhla sin on rud céine. You know, there's a chance that there's something there. So chance or Beidir go will rud ag an, there's a chance that there's something. Meawl, very tricky to translate because in like kyo and the last one, not used very often. I would say here it just translates as potential or good, but it can mean a lot of different things. So in this case, it's clear from the context, hopefully. Chance go rud ag an meawl or sin. Chances maybe, you know, in English you just say that there's something there. Okay, there's something kind of potential there, or something good there, or something possible. Chance go rud ag an meawl or sin. And again, we're kind of placing it on the thing. Instead of saying just that it's there, we're saying that it's on the idea or the thought.
Okay.
Ach ní lism cá rachi sé.
Ach ní lisgum cá rachi sé. So again, it's not níla is agam, it's nílisgum. Really fast, really tight, like the gurmagat. Okay, for thank you. Nílisgum cá rachi sé. I don't know where it will go. Rachi sé, it will go. So again, even though it's not a physical going, we can still use it like we would in Merla, you know, rud céin le Berla, Marhampla. Well, I don't know where it'll go. I don't know how the plan will go. We're not actually going anywhere. Ach fós táman si gúsáid an bríhir. Go, no in Gaeilge che. So ní lisagum cá rachi sé. I don't know where it will go.
No lism cá dusní sin.
No ní lisagum cá dusní sé. So I don't know where it will start. So on rud céine ní lisagum cá. I don't know where. Cá dusnóí sé. Where it will start.
Creating sé.
No, not creating sé. So where it'll end. Okay, so Éist dímuid leis an píosa sin Arís.
Sean go rud ag an meabhla se.
Okay.
Ach ní lism cá rachi sé. No lism cá dusní sin, cá creating sé.
So I don't know basically where it will go, where it will start, where it will finish. An píosa dearnach.
So it's gáil seasamh os cór slua.
Is gá seasamh os cór slua. So tá seo Jackar is gá, because sin it's necessary. Moderm is gá dum, sin I need to. You know, it's necessary for me. And dum for me. So it's gá dum, it's necessary for me. Ach just is gá. And sin it's necessary. It's mandatory. Okay, it's gá seasamh os cór slua. Seasamh sin stand. So it's necessary to stand os cór slua in front of a crowd. Slua will always be crowd or even audience. Ska seasamh os cór slua. It's necessary to stand in front of an audience.
Agus just tusnú ag caint.
Agus just tusnú ag caint. Okay, so agus just and just. Tusnú ag caint. You might be thinking, is it not tusu? But we can say both. There's kind of two forms of it. You can say tusu as the verbal noun, so ag tusu, or just a husu for the infinitive, or you can say tusnú. It's just another form of the noun with the N, the exact same, but just with the N. So ag tusnú a husnú. Marhampla agus an seo tá dara ag úsáid an lagan leis an N. Agus sinné, go leis gael. So just tusnú ag caint to start talking. Okay, so Éist dímuid leis an ceann sin or bháin eile.
Agus an teoiric ná, bailach aibíonn sin ná, nuair bhíonn ag siar seomra le féin ag teacht suas le joke, ní aibíonn sé. Ní féad sé anna dhheachar teacht suas is stuff nuair nach chud ag súna bhar an gig féin.
So níl sin sin agus céir, Tá seo an joke.
Níos a rís. Níos móna sin cabin se, oh, wait, sin rud a hála, seanscoil rud ag an meála se.
Okay.
Ach ní listen córachi sé, no listen có, dus ní sin a chochréting sé. So it's gáil seasa bus cosú agus, just tusnú ag kaint.
So, Shin, Dara, O'Brien. Guys, the full links for those shows, if you want to go practice more or watch the actual clips of the videos and subtitles, will be down below. Both are quite good shows, although I'm not sure, do I have the link for the full episode that Dara was on Imol? But you might be able to find it somewhere. But I have the link for a 3 or 4 minute interview he did there. So yeah, ní ceapam grá ein clip inniu, guys, ar sais níos Jackra, non cean eile, bhí siad sais ar an level céine. Pages, they're around about the same difficulty today. Captain Shafane, Arinos, I think so. Ach tasulam gul siad óhád ní salera anish. Agus go diggin shiv, biod nach gachrad an shin, but don't be worried if there's still some confusion. Anything I didn't cover, any word you might not gosh or you might not be clear on, guys, just pop me a comment. I'll leave you a message back explaining things fully. And again, any thoughts, feedback, issues, questions, whatever. Igoni is féidir that of it jagwalums na Teacht, so in the comments, no freshen here on RÍOMHPHOST, liam.learnirishonline @gmail.com. Arinos, guys, an Teachtan seo cadella a Teacht amach mar in Yod J Loon. An Teachtan seo by Gwilga Weekly, ag Teacht amach an Gadin, well, an Morch an seo, Patreon, so Gwilga Weekly coming out tomorrow. August tar ar Gade agin. Gwilga Weekly, so we're our first ever guest on Gwilga Weekly, so ag tnu gomor le shin. Cadella atá agin on Katie no Bejer and Geraldine by Fish on Gaming, ag Teacht amach by me Gimmich Buganin GeoGuessr, Arís, August on Shin on Ina Topotu no Go, ag Teacht amach Arís freshen. So, shin on plan, guys, that's the kind of schedule for the week. And don't worry, it's a lot of kind of different stuff coming up. It's not always going to be a case of Éist gaming, Butter no Go, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every week. A few different things, like I did last week with chatting a bit about the language in general and my thoughts on it. There's going to be a bit more kind of broader and general content, and then a few different show ideas as well that I'm going to be testing out soon. So ní bhaid sí as I san rud céanna gach seachtain by a lán rudí jifriúla ag teacht. Arinos, guys, chinné, the Éist an seachtain seo beim Jarash, an teachtain seo hugan no beidir an seachtain inniu é sin ach beim Jarash go lua ar éanam. So many thanks for listening, guys. Míle buíochas, slán go fóill.